Hey, what's up, guys? I am doing my live stream later today, much later than I normally do on Fridays, because I've been super busy getting ready for a trip to Mexico that I'm taking uh, tonight actually. Well, about 1:30 in the morning. So I don't know if that's tomorrow or tonight. I'm going to Mexico for a school trip. Hello, for those of you who are joining just now. I'm going to be taking a class in Mexico over the course of the next month or so. And it's not a Spanish class. I'm taking science class down there, which is going to be really interesting. But obviously, if I'm going to be in Mexico, then I'm going to be doing a lot of practicing. So I don't have a whole lot to talk about in this video other than just the things that I've been doing to prepare myself for my trip to Mexico, because I just finished a semester where I was taking 2 French classes and no Spanish classes. And so my brain was just soaking in the French. I was absorbing it all in, and I had a very French mindset this semester. And then I had to shift gears really quickly as soon as the semester was over. I started trying to get my mind into the Spanish mindset now. So over the last week or two, I've been, aside from my 12-hour German language learning session, I've been trying to get myself back into speaking Spanish. Spanish is my strongest second language by far. I'm much stronger in Spanish than I am in French, but it's nuanced, right? Because I've been spending all my time practicing French. I was doing all my homework in French. I was listening to French music. I was trying to just submerge myself in French the whole semester. And I can't just jump right back into Spanish real fluently and real easily after that much of a, I don't know what you would say, French immersion for the last 6 months. In fact, not just 6 months. Let's see, in July, on July 1st, I was in France, and then after that, I was in Quebec, and then so from July 1st all the way up until probably just about September almost, I was in French-speaking countries, and then French classes all day, every week for the entire semester, all the way until almost the very end of December. December 22nd was my last French final. So that's a good solid 6 months of immersing myself in French. It takes a little bit of getting used to just, you can't just spin on a dime and start heading the opposite direction and start speaking Spanish again. If you try to do that, you're gonna have all these French words coming out, especially since French and Spanish are so similar. So I've really been trying to immerse myself in Spanish over the last 2 weeks or so, aside from the one day when I was learning German. I'm trying to get back into that Spanish mindset, trying to do some immersion, trying to soak my brain in Spanish and get that feeling more natural again. So I've been listening to a lot of Spanish music. I made myself a playlist on Spotify. I finally got a subscription to Spotify after however many years I've been using it, because I don't have. See, let me pull out my phone here. This is my cell phone. I know I'm old school. So I don't have a data plan on my phone or on my iPad or anything. So I can't just use Spotify wherever I go. If I'm driving in the car, I can only use CDs. or listen to the radio. So finally, I was able to get. I did get Spotify subscription so that I can download the music on Spotify and listen to that wherever I go, when I'm in the car or when I don't have Wi-Fi, which has been really nice because I have a very long commute. So I've been able to immerse myself in Spanish music again, which I had only been listening to French music almost exclusively this whole semester. And I think just immersing myself in music like that has been a big help. It's just the Spanish starts to come out more easily now. I think just because it's getting embedded in there real deep somewhere in your brain, when you're not just speaking Spanish, but you're singing it. You're getting tunes stuck in your head, and it's been nice. Real easy way of getting myself back into Spanish mode. What else have I been doing? I've been doing a little bit of reading. I used Link. I have to admit, I haven't been using Link as much as I would like. I thought I was going to have more free time during the winter break. I ended up doing a lot of ice fishing instead of language learning. Oh man, yeah. It's like, where does your break go? You think, oh, I have 9 days off. I have plenty of time to do everything I need to do. I intended to make some language videos for this channel, to pre-make some so that I could schedule them to be uploaded while I'm in Mexico, and I didn't do much of that. It was the holidays. I was going to Christmas parties, New Year's parties, having my brother and my nephew over. My sister came visiting from Thailand. So didn't do as much preparation as I would have liked to. I did do a little bit of reading on Link. I'd never really used Link before for Spanish, which was interesting because, I had been using it for French. And over the summer, my French did improve a lot. I learned a lot of new words, especially using Link while I was in France. It was a particularly nice combination. But French is still not a super strong language for me, but it definitely wasn't before I started using Link. So, I had a ton of blue words, and then you start slowly turning them to yellow and then white words. With Spanish, it was interesting because I'm good at Spanish. You're just swiping through all the different pages, and that was a lot of fun, just watching it all go really quickly from blue to white. And I do have some yellow links in there, so that's been helping. I posted on Instagram. I posted what do you call that? An Insta story, an Instagram story. I'm not on Instagram all the time, so or I'm pretty new to Instagram, so I'm not up to date with all the lingo. But I posted a video on my Insta story, I believe it's called, that I was needing to prepare for a trip to Mexico after an entire semester of practicing French, and so I was able to do a Google Hangouts with a few guys one of them was a native Spanish speaker, the other one was learning Spanish, and just chatting Spanish. We probably chatted for about 45 minutes to an hour or something. I intended to do it several times, and again, procrastination and being lazy kind of got in the way. But we did have a good chat one time. I would have liked to have done it a little bit more, but that's the kind of stuff that happens around the holidays, I guess. So listening to music, reading, using Link, and then just chatting with people online. I didn't know either of them before we started talking. I think I maybe had very briefly I was friends with them on Instagram. That was it. They probably found me through my 30-day record yourself challenge campaign that it was really popular on Instagram, not quite as popular on YouTube as it was on Instagram. So that is the majority of what I've been doing. I did watch a few movies. I listened to a few podcasts in Spanish. So I don't know. I'm curious if any of you guys, what you do if you're gonna be immersing yourself in a new language, or if you need to switch gears really quickly. Do you guys struggle with these issues like I do, where you're speaking French, and then all of a sudden you got to start speaking Spanish, but all the French words keep coming out, you know? Do you have experience learning languages that are very similar, like French and Spanish, or French and Italian, or I don't have a whole lot of experience learning very different languages, so I'm curious to hear you guys' experience with that. Have you been learning Chinese and German? How is it switching between those two? And what can you do? So, so before I go on this class to Mexico, for those of you who are joining just now, I am taking a school trip to Mexico. I'm taking a science class down there. We're studying air pollution and atmospheric conditions and how acid rain affects ancient Aztec ruins. It's going to be a cool Spanish class. And so, or it's not a Spanish class, it's going to be a cool science class. Ironically, I'm going to Mexico not to study Spanish. I'm studying abroad to study the atmosphere, which isn't even anything to do with my major, but it was just a science credit, so I'm taking it. But it was in Mexico, which is why I wanted to take that class. Anyways, most of the class is in Mexico. The first 2 days of our class, today and yesterday, have been here in the United States. They were in Milwaukee, on campus, and man, the first 2 hours of each class was, I think, someone from the Spanish department. My science professor for this class got someone from the Spanish department to come give you like a crash course in beginner Spanish. And man, it was hard to sit through. A lot of my classmates don't know any Spanish. Some of them, they've taken 1 or 2 Spanish classes, and so they know a little bit. And here am I just sitting there, like probably the only one in the class that's fluent in Spanish, sitting there going, ¿Qué hora es? Son las 11. Son las 9. Or, Hola, ¿cómo estás? Muy bien. ¿Y tú? It was just kind of brutal. But it was kind of an interesting approach that this guy took, because he just came into our class and he only spoke Spanish. He even did the instructions in Spanish, which, for me was very easy to understand because he spoke slowly and clearly, and he was a native English speaker, so Spanish is his second language. And I was kind of impressed that my other classmates were able to understand at least the gist of everything he said. I'm sure there was tons that went over his head, or went over their heads, especially for those who didn't have any training in Spanish. But it just goes to show how much context plays a role in what you're saying. It reminds me of a Stephen Krashen video that I watched one time where he was talking about comprehensible input. And he goes, all right, we're going to do a German lesson really quick. And, I don't know, he was probably on stage or in front of a class or something. But he says, we're going to do a German lesson really quick. Then he goes rattling something off in German. He goes, da 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 da, and he's just blaring all this German, and you have no idea what he's saying. And then he stops and he goes, all right, now we're going to do another German lesson. And in German, he's like, this is my hand. I have 2 hands. 1 hand, 2 hands, 2 hands. These are my hands. This is my ear. I have 2 ears. 1 ear, 2 ear, their ears. 2 ears, 2 hands. I have 2 hands, I have 2 ears. And then, you know, he's going on like that, slowly and repeating, and you can tell everything that he's doing because he's touching his ears, he's showing you his hands. And even if you don't speak any German, it's really easy to pick up. It's an interesting video to watch. I would recommend it to anyone after you watch this live stream. Just do a YouTube search for Stephen Krashen. Oh, sorry, I haven't been looking at you guys' comments here. I'm going to type it in here. All right, it's Stephen Krashen. Actually, how do you spell Stephen? I know there's several different ways. Stephen Krashen. Okay, P-H-E-N. Stephen Krashen. And then comprehensible input. Interesting video to check out. Maybe I'll link to it later if I remember. All right, let me go through and read some of these. Hamzam says, ¿Qué tal? Jorge says, hola Fintam y feliz año nuevo. ¿Cuáles son tus cantantes favoritos en español? My favorite, and I'm doing well, thanks. My favorite cantantes, my favorite singers in Spanish. The one band that I've been really listening to a lot recently is called La Quinta Estación, I think, or something like that. I don't always know their names. I just put my iPad, the Spotify app, on shuffle in the playlist, and I listen to them a lot. But there's a band from Spain. I've been listening to them a lot. I like Maná. I like Jesse Joy and Oreja de Van Gogh. Those are some of my favorites. Andy says, hola, Finktam has a live stream. Oh yeah, it's Friday already. Yes. Like I said earlier, I wasn't planning on doing a live stream earlier in the day. Normally I do live streams early on Friday, but today I had class. So I've been preparing for this study abroad class I'm doing in Mexico. Jorge says, to fix that, I've started reading a novel in Italian. I'm sure he said this in response to something that I said earlier, but I don't know what I was saying at the time because I wasn't paying attention to comments at that moment. Okay, Vautro says, last week I attended a German-Spanish language exchange. After the second beer, I started to mix German and Spanish, or mix German and Swedish. Yeah, it's confusing, especially when you're learning languages that are very similar. Jorge says, oh, I like La Quinta Estación too. I saw them in concert here in Austin many years ago. Man, they do one song that I just really like. It's called El Sol No Regresa. And I don't know, every time that song comes on the shuffle, I just get super pumped up. It's a fun song. Marina says, hola, escucha el grupo Miranda. Never heard of them before, but I will buscarles. Miranda. Is it Miranda with an exclamation point? Perfecta, don. Yo te diré. Yeah, okay. It's at least a Spanish language band, so that's cool. Kikerg says, ¿Cómo crear un blog de Instagram de idiomas? I don't know, do you do blogs on Instagram? I'm not super up to date on Instagram. I just started doing mine recently when I started my 30-day record yourself challenge, which was a mistake because I should have started doing Instagram much earlier. I think Instagram is a huge resource for those who want to learn languages because there's tons of people on there. It seems like a very tight-knit community, and people are very kind, always willing to share information. You can learn languages specifically from people that teach languages that you're trying to learn. If you're learning Spanish, you can find some Instagram user that posts stuff for Spanish, for learning Spanish. Or you can just find stuff from people that just are interested in language learning in general. So I think it's a great community on there. Fantasma, mi tema favorito. Is that also a song by Miranda? Fantasmas. Fantasmas. Ah. I'll listen later. Is that it? Miranda. Yeah. Okay. Jorge says the bit about reading a novel in Italian was a response to what to do when one mixes languages when going back and forth. I mix Italian and Esperanto. Yeah, I bet, because you got a lot of same root words. Yeah, which is why I've been trying to read books in Spanish over the past few weeks. I'm trying to get the French out of my brain and get the Spanish back in. And supposedly doing just fun, free reading is supposed to be a big help for that. Or just in general, in language learning, period. And man, I wish I would have made more time over the past 2 weeks in order to do that. But I did get a little bit of reading in, so that was good. And Roberts said for Spanish language, norteños, the genre from Mexico. I'm not sure I'm familiar with that genre. Is it like from the north of Mexico? Presumably. Kiker, Andy says, create an Instagram account and see how other language learners use Instagram, then post your own pictures and short videos and write comments under them. Yep. Some people post videos of themselves speaking their target languages. Others post photos of their language notebooks and textbooks. Yeah, there's all kinds of people that are just documenting their language progression on Instagram. It's a fun way. I think Instagram is a great way to expose yourself to the world. It's hard to do, but if you can record videos of yourself, which is entirely why I wanted to do the 30-day record yourself challenge in the first place, because it takes a little bit of balls in order to put yourself out there and record videos of yourself speaking your language, and for other people to see all your errors and your mistakes. So it's a great way to come out of your comfort zone and just learn your language. You got to be confident, you got to be bold about it, but it'll help push you to learn your language better. Okay, Jorge says, if you're looking for good novels in Spanish, try something by Arturo Pérez Reverte. And then he links to the Wikipedia article, so that'll be useful. Cool. Yeah, I haven't read a whole lot of... most of the books that I've read in Spanish were translated into Spanish from English. Like I read the Harry Potter books and stuff. I think I read the Wizard of Oz in Spanish, or at least partially. I read Maze Runner in Spanish and stuff, which is kind of a shame because you're missing an opportunity to learn about the actual culture of that the person knows about who's writing about it. But at the same time, if you know Harry Potter really well, then it was kind of nice because I already had the whole the concept of the book. I understood the meaning behind what was going on, even if I would miss some of the words. So it was really nice for comprehension. I don't have a whole lot else to say today other than just wanted to talk a little bit about how I've been trying to switch my brain from French to Spanish. I should also say that I don't know how many videos are going to be coming over the next 2 weeks while I'm in Mexico. Hopefully, I'll be recording some videos while I'm there. Maybe do a live stream or two if I get the chance. I am going to be taking classes down there, and I think we're going to be pretty much busy every day. I don't think we're going to get, just a free day just to do whatever we want, because it's a 2-week class, so you got to do a lot of work in the meantime in order to cram an entire semester into 2 weeks. But if I do get a chance somewhere to do a live stream or just record a quick video on my iPhone and upload it, I will definitely be trying to do that. Keep an eye out. Otherwise, if not, then I will for sure be back in 2 weeks from now. I'll be back, and I'll probably do a live stream just to let you guys know about my experience and what language learning I did while I was in Mexico. Norteños sound a lot like mariachi bands and a little bit like Tejano, if you know either of those genres. About music in Spanish, I recommend Javiera Mena and Francisca Valenzuela. Valenzuela. No, I don't know any of those, but I'll have to check them out. And Andy says, congrats on having the opportunity to study in Mexico, even if the subject is unrelated. Yeah, I mean, it's a science class. It's an atmospheric sciences class, but, I'm sure I'll be interested in that. I like science, and it'll be a good opportunity to practice my Spanish, even if the class has nothing to do with Spanish. When I was in France last summer, I was studying French in France at La Sorbonne. So that was a pretty cool experience, just focusing on language the whole time. Won't be happening in Mexico, but it'll still be a good opportunity to practice Spanish. So I'm going to get going. Thanks for those of you who did join. Sorry it was a little shorter, a little later today, but like I said, schedule's kind of packed with travel stuff. I will see you guys sometime soon. So thanks for watching.